welcome back to Avnishville. Today I'm going to be talking about the skeletal system. So yeah, let's get started. What is the skeletal system? The skeletal system is a frame of the body composed of bones, cartilage, ligaments, and joints, providing support, shape, and protection for organs, while also enabling movement, storing minerals, and producing red blood cells. Babies are born with 300, but as we grow, some bones are fused together, which makes so when you're an adult, you will have only 206 bones. Babies are more flexible, partly because they're just flexible, but the other half is that they're born with more bones, which allows for more bending. So there's more points where bones can bend because there are more bones, so there's more connecting parts. You could think of it as there's more wiggly wobbly and flexibility than big long bones that adults have, so when you do a lot of yoga, it helps you be more flexible while you're being an adult. So yeah, so this is a diagram of the whole skeleton. This is a kind of like an overview. So this is the ossicles, the inner ear, the skull, which is a few bones together. This is just one whole big piece. The shoulder girdle, which is basically the shoulder bone, you could say. Excuse me. The shoulder bone, so where the shoulder is, what's the hyoid bone? If you didn't know, it holds the tongue. The tongue is actually attached to a bone, and the hyoid bone allows the tongue to do this. You can't see me, but it allows you to stick it out and put it back in your mouth like this. There's also the arm right here. These two bones. This is an adult skeleton, so baby skeletons will look a little different. So yeah. It'll probably have a few more, maybe 3 bones or 4 bones. Maybe even 5 bones. And this is the hand, which has a lot. The hand and the foot have a lot of bones because your hand is one of the most flexible parts of your body. There's the thoracic cage, which is this part. There's the rib cage, which is this part. And this part is the vertical, this is a thoracic cage, basically the rib cage. The vertebral column, basically the vertebrae. The pelvic girdle, which is basically put around your hip area. And there's the leg, which is basically the arm for your support, basically. The legs have the longest and heaviest bone in your body, and the legs have more muscles. If you didn't know, the arm muscles are fast twitch muscles, so which allows for faster movements, but they have less stamina. So if you don't, have you ever heard about skull crawlers? And do you know dinosaurs like the theropods? So a skull crawler actually runs on its arms, so which allows it to run faster than any dinosaur. Pretty much any dinosaur, maybe not the smallest dinosaurs, like the smaller theropod dinosaurs like the Compy or the Velociraptor. Not Jurassic World ones. The real life ones are smaller. Those ones should probably run faster than a skull crawler or a skull devil, like Ramarak. But the point is, running on your hands, there are benefits and there are cons. So there are pros and cons. The pros are that you will have you basically running is faster because the arms hold fast twitch muscles. But there is a reason for why no animal in the real life world actually runs on their arms. And the biggest reason is that the legs will not be able to be as fast because legs have slow twitch muscles. That comes with the pro of having more stamina. So most dinosaurs, like the Arx giga, because that's you can't really compare a huge monster to an actual dinosaur, but let's think of Arxgiga because that's basically a titan, you could say. Once on its legs, it will have more stamina. Its speed will be slower, but over time, it can carry that speed for longer periods of time. So technically, if in a prolonged amount, technically Arxgiga could basically win or tie in a race. So enough of about like monsters and stuff like that. So yeah. What are inside the bones? Part 1. Just like the heart, it's not gonna be like multiple different videos. It's just I'm making it bigger so I can read it easier. And if you don't want me saying it, you can read it easier and faster. And if you really don't want me to listen kid talking about this and you want to read it yourself because you might read faster, you absolutely can. Just pause the video. Sort of that. Inside bones is complex living tissue with the hard outer layer, the compact bone, and the spongy inner part, the cancellous bone, filled with red and yellow bone marrow. Bones also contain essential blood vessels, nerves, minerals like calcium, which helps it grow, and proteins like collagen for strength, all maintained by specialized cells like osteoblasts, which are for building, and osteoclasts, which are for breaking down. So this is like a bone anatomy picture. Not the best, probably not the worst either. I just found something from the internet. So this is basically the whole bone. I don't know which one. It probably is it's probably a limb. So it's probably from the leg or the arm. So this is the yellow marrow. This is the red marrow. This is the compact bone, and this is a spongy bone which contains the red marrow. Blood vessels in bone marrow. This is blood stem cells, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets, which is what bones create. What are inside the bones? Part 2. The periosteum, which is a tough membrane covering the bone with the nerves and cells. So this nerves and cells I talked about, vessels that I talked about are covering the bone with these nerves and vessels. Periosteum. At the ends of bones, there's cartilage. Cartilage you can think of as like a flexible, less durable, like more softer bone you could think of. If you didn't know, fun fact, if you didn't know, sharks are, you could think, since sharks are fish fish's skeletons are made of bones like us. Sharks, which are fish, do not actually have bone in their skeleton. It's fully cartilage. And if you didn't know, cartilage is what's found at the tip of your nose, which is why it's super soft, and the tips of your ears, which is why it's super flexible and is super like soft and stuff, which acts as a shock absorber, because cartilage is not only in these areas that I talked about, they're also at the ends of a bone. So it kind of absorbs shock, like if you hit it. Not at every point, it's usually at the end of a bone, because stuff. That's how we're made. So it's usually at places that are when the two bones are connected with joints. Osteoblasts build new bone. Osteoclasts break down old bone for remodeling, and that said remodeling are directed by osteocytes, which are mature bone cells. What is collagen? So I talked about collagen in the previous slide. What is it? Collagen is the body's most abundant structural protein, acting like glue to hold tissues together, providing strength to skin, bones, tendons, ligaments, and organs, and aiding in cell growth and repair. So basically, collagen is a very important protein because it provides strength to a lot of important things, like the skin, tendons, ligaments, the organs, which are all important, and including the bone too. So it helps. And if you didn't know what abundant means you have a lot of. It doesn't mean you have very less of. It means you have a lot of in a place. Like in this case, your body. What does the bone marrow do? So we talked about bone marrow, but what is it and what does it do? The bone marrow is found inside bones, and there are two different types of bone marrow: red marrow and yellow marrow. Red marrow is in charge of making the blood for the body. Like I said in my previous video, the heart doesn't make blood. The heart just circulates the blood to other parts of the body. So the heart's job is the bicycle pump, and the red marrow is basically creating the thing. Like in this case, in my example, air, or in this case, the red blood cells. Yellow marrow is in charge of storing fats, providing long-term energy. So when you're fasting, you won't necessarily be super weak. You're probably going to be a little weaker because you're not getting any new nutrients or food that day, but you won't be super weak and super helpless or tired because a lot of greasy foods and a lot of foods like healthy have fats, and yellow marrow is in charge of storing those fats. So if you are fasting, then the yellow marrow is basically going to be using those said stored fats and use them as the energy source instead of the food that you eat on a daily basis, which is what you would regularly do. But if you're fasting, then you're gonna be using the stored fats as your energy for that day, or for how many days or how many weeks or how many months you're fasting. Which, how many months makes no sense because you can only survive 30 to 60 days without food. So yeah, yellow marrow can also convert into red marrow to produce blood cells during severe blood loss. This isn't something you want to have because nobody wants a severe blood loss, because that's in some severe cases, like you fell down off someplace and you so happen to be falling down on something super sharp, and yeah, when you break something, if you fracture a bone, it comes all different colory, that kind of looks like a bruise, because bones store the red blood cells, and because they make the red blood cells and the white blood cells, if you didn't know, or if you haven't been paying attention, that's the blood kind of gets all over the place. So that's why you don't want yellow marrow to convert into red marrow. This is for severe cases, like I said, if you happen to be falling on something super sharp, or you were in a car accident, which I never hope to happen to any of you guys, because you guys, whoever subscribed, are incredible. So yeah, what organs do bones protect? Because bones aren't just like the structural part of our body and not just the thing that creates blood and stuff, which are all important. The bones also protect vital organs. The main organs bone protect are the most important ones. I'm probably not talking about every single organ that the bone protects, but these are the three most obvious ones that you think of. The skull is basically the easiest example, which protects the brain, the most important organ in our body, because the brain gives all of the commands. It's the brain. It's the command center. It's like the chip. Think of like the smartphone's chip or the computer's chip. Chip not as in like the food item, the computer processing thing with the CPU, the GPU, the neural engine, all that jazz. The rib cage protects two vital organs that are necessary to survive. These two organs help. Basically, without these two, none of your functions work. You will basically die instantly, or die in a few seconds, or in a few minutes, depending on what you are or who you are. Because I don't think aliens are watching this video. And without these two organs, the brain wouldn't function. And these two are the heart and the lungs. Because the heart circulates blood that has oxygen and nutrients throughout our body, including our brain. and the lungs provide the oxygen for our blood that is later pumped out through the heart via. So these are the things. So this is the skull, and fun fact, the skull isn't one entire bone. It's actually made up of multiple bones, like the mandible, which is the lower jaw, the frontal, this part is more like the brain part, the nasal cavity, which is the nose, and the eyes and the stuff. And these are the rib cage, where the heart and the lungs are, and this is the spinal cord, which is in the back. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, please like and subscribe, because, well, just like and subscribe. I'm gonna become very happy. I'm gonna become a very happy person. I'm gonna try making better videos, better quality videos, more fun educational videos for you guys. So yeah, just hit that red juicy subscribe button down below. So yeah. Also, please share, because that will help with the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!